Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends of the Jacobs Foundation, all children should live free of hunger, deprivation, and poverty. They should enjoy their lives. They should be positively stimulated, and they should receive a good education. This vision has been guiding the Jacobs Foundation and our work for the last 26 years. Yet, despite more than 6 decades of global economic growth, adequate standards of living still remain beyond the reach of hundreds of millions of children. Child development, ladies and gentlemen, is one of the world's greatest challenges in scope, scale, and impact. The last decades have shown that the solution to these most pressing issues in the developing world is not just economic growth. We have learned in our own work in Argentina, Brazil, and Colombia, for example, that the most promising strategy in advance is not only necessarily just economic growth, but advancing economic and educational opportunities to all, and children and women in particular. Economic development, economic empowerment, and education go hand in hand. If women and mothers are educated and can earn a living, their children enjoy better nutrition, health, and education. This helps to break the cycle of poverty that often runs from one generation to the next and gives the children a fairer chance to make the most of their potential. However, in reality, almost everywhere on the globe, the poorest and most vulnerable families who are likely to benefit most have the least access to quality early childhood education and care. This is why inequalities are actually increasing in a lot of countries. The poorest children face the greatest risk of poor nutrition, being left alone or with inadequate care, and are less likely than children from wealthier households to attend early childhood programs. This is unfortunate because offering these children social support provides a high return on investment. The scientific evidence is clear and compelling. Investing in early childhood care and education may serve as a stepping stone out of poverty and exclusion. And there is rising global awareness and commitment to child development. But at the same time, there are persisting challenges, most notably the lack of funding. Many countries are not taking the necessary policy measures to provide care and education to their children. Few countries have established national frameworks for the financing, coordination, and supervision of programs for young children. These services are often still considered as the responsibility of families or private provider. This is, by the way, sadly also true for Switzerland, a problem that we tackle with our early education program, Primo Kids, on the community and cantonal levels, and our nationwide campaign, Ready. We are convinced that there is an opportunity, but also a responsibility to work together to make safe and supportive child development a reality for all children. But how to do this and where to start? This is where Horacio Athanasio's work taps in. As a world-renowned economist specializing in modeling household behavior and applied econometrics, he could lead a comfortable life advising the UK governments on housing policies. He could, but he doesn't. Instead, he does something unique. With social experiments and sophisticated statistical analysis, he shows governments around the world that investments in the children of their countries pay off. And he does not only tell them that they should do this, his unique combination of methods, and I'm not going into the details of structural modeling here, allows him to advise governments where, when, and how best to invest in their children. Athanasio's seminal work in Mexico and Colombia has shown how much parenting matters. The programs he analyzed were successful because they induced parents to invest more in their children, spending more time with them and providing more toys and books. Parenting matters, skillful parenting matters. With ICSSP, we are celebrating and honoring an NGO tonight with a unique approach of combining skillful parenting in low and middle-income countries and agribusiness in one program. That makes them the perfect awardee for this year's Klaus J. Jacobs Best Practice Prize. After years of successful work with farming families, they went the extra mile and asked, how can we combine economic strengthening and parenting to achieve mutually reinforcing effects? The work of ICSSP is a prime example of focusing on low-cost and evidence-based intervention in rural areas with a strong potential for replication in other areas of the world. While addressing the development of children from age 0 to 18 and using a well-defined training curriculum and implementation methodology with local facilitators, the model also incorporates an innovative cooperation with social enterprises and agricultural business. ICSSP is a blueprint for combining economic empowerment, education, and child development. Now, having said all that, we know that leaders and policymakers face challenges in setting priorities and budgets amongst many competing demands, charting the way forward. Thierry Tanot, our distinguished guest and keynote speaker, speaks from experience. But he will also tell us that leadership requires the conviction to do what you believe in. The Jacobs Foundation firmly believes that quality education is a precondition for sustainability and economic development. Founding on this conviction and building on the commitment of the Ivorian government and the cocoa and chocolate industry to improve the livelihoods of cocoa farmers, we have launched the program Transforming Education in Cocoa Communities, TREC. TREC will catalyze the interests of the private sector, the government, and civil society organizations around a common goal of ensuring sustainable development through quality education in the Republic of Côte d'Ivoire. Minister Camara, Minister Tanot, your presence at tonight's ceremony shows the high priority your government has set on improving educational outcome for all children and youth in your country. We are honored to have you here, and we are looking forward to hearing and learning from you later on. Before coming to an end, I would like to take the opportunity to thank Michael Hengartner, the president of the University of Zurich, for hosting us again tonight for the 8th time now in a row, and for our unique partnership. The global challenge before us is to provide good beginnings for the hundreds of millions of poor children through education, healthcare, nutrition, and social protection. As I have said at the beginning, child development is one of the world's greatest challenges in scope, scale, and impact. Not to invest in the developmental potential of children is a failure that locks families, communities, and nations into poverty and threatens their security. Scientific evidence from across disciplines has clearly demonstrated that investing in children's well-being is a proven pathway out of poverty and into promise. Courageous individuals and institutions, such as the ones we are celebrating tonight, lead me to believe that we can live up to this promise. Thank you very much.